Welcome back to Skewed Reviews. And today I'm reviewing a film that I was lucky enough to get an early access screener to. Now, this is a movie that, as of tomorrow, December 9th, will be available to watch on video on demand. And it's also all thanks to my friends over at Strike Media that I was able to get this early access screener, so thank you so much. Now, the movie that I'm referring to is the 2025 film Manor of Darkness, directed by Blake Ritter. Now, Manor of Darkness is a fun horror film with some small comedy elements thrown in, but a very interesting time loop aspect with it as well. So let me tell you more about the story to see if this is something that you want to check out for yourselves. In the film, we have four main characters: Chris and his girlfriend Lisa, Chris's sister Laura, and a new friend to the group named Andy. Now, all four of these individuals are technically, I don't know if they fully confirm this, but are professional thieves. Now, what also adds an interesting aspect to this film is each one of these characters also has a very dark or very unfortunate background or past event that did occur. Now, Chris manages to stumble upon some interesting information. There's a gentleman named Lucas who owns a manor. Now, what he wants to do is to have a film crew of some sort come into his home and do a documentary. Now, this is a very large manor, and so there could be plenty of things for them to steal in general. Chris, however, though, also ends up discovering that within the walls of this manor is some sort of item or items that were not recovered due to a theft or some sort of situation that happened some time ago. And whatever this is that's in this manor might be worth millions of dollars. So, this is something, of course, that he and the rest of his gang are going to try to find when they go into Lucas's manor. Now, leading up to this quote unquote heist, each one of the members of this group does have a small but easily enough to wave off situation of a potential supernatural event, or maybe it's just a trick of the eye or just something that they can just pretend never happened. Either way, all four of them don't really treat it as much. So once they actually show up to the manor and meet Lucas, a very interesting sequence of events does start to occur, which I won't mention as I don't want to ruin anything, but they do end up finding out that there is some sort of supernatural presence in the manor that is now causing things to kind of repeat. And if they don't figure out or solve the mystery here, they may be stuck on this loop forever. So, going into this film, I was a little hesitant about whether or not I would end up enjoying this, but I actually did enjoy it much more than I thought I was going to. Reviewing this film in its entirety, there was a lot that I really enjoyed. I like the characters, I like the concept, the story. Everything about it was fun, interesting, and slightly fascinating. Now, at the same time, even though I did really enjoy this, there were a couple of smaller things that I wasn't as big of a fan of. Like, for instance, I liked the characters, and I don't think that the actors were bad, but some of the performances were a little bit weaker than others. And at the same time, even though I really felt I got to know some of these characters, there was times where I felt like I wish I could have gotten to know them more as well. There was also the story and the concept, which, like I said, I did enjoy both of those, but there were unanswered questions by the end of the film that I think would have helped had they been answered, or kind of just like minor plot points that didn't make much sense. But like I said, these were all like smaller issues that I had, but it's due to those that I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. But I'll be honest, I was very close to giving this one a 4. So, all in all, though, I do absolutely recommend checking this one out. Like I said, it will be available to rent as of tomorrow, and you'll be able to find it on Google Play, YouTube, and Prime. So, go and check it out. Find out what you think about the movie Manor of Darkness. Also, once you do end up watching this movie, let me know what you thought about it in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews. And once again, a big shout out to my friends over at Strike Media. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to watch this screener and let everyone else know a little bit more about the movie before it comes out.